Greetings. So we're going to talk now about the second part of the program, which is called the use of the mantram. But I think before we do that, I'd like to just go back a minute and talk more generally about why we do spiritual practice anyway. After all, as you're going to discover, this is not easy. There has to be a motive for it. But I think almost all of us feel that motive. I actually believe that all of us are looking for meditation. We're all looking for that peace, that infinite security, that source of love, that energy that shows up physically, emotionally, other ways. We're all looking for that, but we don't know it. And today, when the world is so confusing, we're looking for a purpose, a unifying purpose in our life that'll really give us something to work for. It won't shut out other things, but it'll allow us to judge of other things, which ones we want to bring in, which ones we want to exclude. It will make sense of our lives. I know for people who are students, they have found that it enhances your grade performance, because what you're doing with meditation and the allied disciplines that we're going to talk about today is you're learning how to concentrate. Now, we all have a much greater capacity for concentration than we are aware of or than we're using. So in meditation, we're practicing and practicing and practicing, refocusing our concentration until we have that concentration under our control. We can use it when we want to, not just when something comes up that manages to galvanize our attention. And I might add that there are health benefits to meditation. I mean, look at me, I'm 104 years old. No, just kidding. But there are great health benefits for meditation. And finally, the fact is that the happiness that we are looking for, all of us, is not outside us. Modern advertising is going to try to convince you you need to buy something, you need to sniff something, you need to eat something to be fulfilled. And we're not going to be able to shake off that conditioning, that delusion, until and unless we've started to discover where the source of our happiness really is. So for me, that is the biggest plus about meditation, that you get liberated from this impossible search to try to find happiness in the outside world. So all right then, on to the second point, the mantram. Here we are, we're meditating for half an hour every day in the morning, and I really would recommend that you work up to the half-hour schedule for every single day as soon as you can. You'll find that it makes a qualitative difference to be meditating every day. But okay, you're doing that, and it's half an hour, and we don't want you to do more, not at first anyway. And there's 23 and a half other hours. You're going to go out there, you're going to read agitating emails, you're going to be in traffic, you're going to have to deal with your roommates and people, and what do you do for the rest of the day? You cannot, whenever a difficult situation presents itself, you cannot say, "Excuse me, officer, I need to sit down and meditate," and you sit down and meditate on the curb for half an hour. That will not work. So we need something that can quickly re-center us, that can refocus our mind on the peace and the stability that we gained during meditation. So what we do, and this has been done down the ages in every single religious tradition, two traditions have made a real science of it, namely Hinduism and Islam, but they have all used it to one degree or another. We take a short, prayerful utterance. In the Hindu tradition, we like to say the name of God, in Christian tradition also, the name of God, and we repeat that silently to ourselves, often enough that it starts to resonate with the peace and the calm and the wisdom and the security and the happiness that we began to come into contact with for our meditation. So the mantram is different from the meditation passage in a number of ways. We want the meditation passage that you've memorized ahead of time, that you use in the 30-minute meditation. We want it to be long. if the ideal passage would take the whole half an hour to go through. But we want the mantram to be short. Something startles you, you trip, you're falling out of your chair, you need it to come to you immediately. So another difference, because these two practices are going to be very complementary, they're helping one another out from their respective angles. The meditation passage, you can change that. If you find that it's not being very vivid for you anymore, the words aren't making sense, it's just kind of turned into noise in your head, put that passage by, memorize another one. You can get back to the original one later on when it's fresher for you. But the mantram works differently. The mantram works on your repetition muscle, so to speak, the part of your brain, your mind, that takes things in through repetition. So once you have chosen a mantra, and we'll get to that in a minute, don't ever change it. Again, you want the mantram to come to you in a moment of emergency. If you've got 2 or 3 mantrams in your head, you don't want to stand there thinking, which one should I use? It has to come up like a reflex from a deeper place. So let's talk about how to choose a mantram. We recommend that you take a mantram that's been used as such by some great spiritual figure in some tradition. And again, if you go onto our website, ishwaran.org, you'll find a list of mantrams that you can choose from. And in our book, Meditation, at the back, there's a list of mantrams. It's very helpful to take something that has already been used. If you want, put it that way, it's been beta tested by aspirants, seekers like ourselves, and the sound is right, the rhythm is right, and the power of it is right. So don't make up your own mantram that if people get into waste of time that way. Pick a mantram that appeals to you. It can be from any religious tradition. Start using it. If you find after a couple of weeks that it's not working somehow, it brings up some old memory that you weren't expecting, go ahead, try a different one, but don't do this too often, right? But soon you want to latch onto a mantram and start repeating it. Now, I've mentioned that you want to repeat it silently. That is the best way. It does no harm at all if you repeat it out loud, provided the other people in the bus will not get startled. But repeating it silently in your mind is the best way. It seems to get it in deeper. And basically, you can say the mantram anytime, as long as you're not meditating and you're not doing something that requires your full attention. If you're driving in traffic, please don't use the mantra. Don't concentrate on anything except the road, the people, the vehicles in front of you. You're cutting vegetables, don't say the mantra at that time, because especially if you're a vegetarian, you don't want any of you in the soup. Excellent time to say the mantra is when you're trying to fall asleep at night. You'll find that after long, long practice, and in my experience, this is very difficult. With a lot of practice, you can actually slip into the mantra when you're falling asleep, and that gets it really deep into your consciousness. You'll find it coming up in your dreams, you'll find that it's there for you more often when you need it. So that's a wonderful thing to do. If you wake up at night and you can't get back to sleep, hey, it's an ideal time to say the mantra. It's a win-win situation. Either you'll get more mantra time or you'll fall asleep. If you're angry or agitated, unhappy about something, frightened, go out for a long, fast walk, if you can possibly do that. You'll find the footsteps and the breathing and the mantram tend to fall together and make a very harmonic force, a very harmonic vibration in your mind. In a way, saying the mantram is extremely easy. It's been called calling the Lord collect. But you'll find remembering it is not so easy. So that is the trick. Just remind yourself. Use any kind of corny trick you want to remind yourself to say the mantra. I mean, my mantra is on the wall in my room. It's on my screensaver. Don't worry that you're not being very sophisticated. Anything that you can do to trick your mind and get the mantra in there is going to work. And then just use it and use it and use it. Every time you're bored, you're waiting online, you're getting agitated, someone's talking to you, who's getting you annoyed, just try to get that mantram to kick in. Good luck.